I want to be real clear about why you guys are in this class. You are in this class to learn how to survive as a black man in this country, because you're going to grow up to be a black man, whether it be concerning finances, whether it be concerning you in a relationship with a woman or a girl, whether it be how to act around another group of people, how not to be a follower, but be a leader. Okay. To know your place in history, because when you know your place in history, you know how to act now, because you want to act like, you don't want to act like how black folks act now. You want to act how you supposed to act and how you were in history. And in history, you was a king and we were kings and queens. Understand that? This is serious, because if I wasn't in your life to teach you this, then who would be in your life to teach you this? Everybody here, the male figure is not available for some reason. That's not your fault. I teach y'all that that's not your fault. But it is your fault when God puts somebody in your life to help you and you feel entitled and you feel like it's not important. Am I making sense? And you don't pay attention. That's when it's your fault. So you can't blame your life on anybody but yourself when God puts somebody in your life to help you and you say, I don't want no help, by acting up. So my job is to teach you how to act as a king in society so you won't have that problem moving forward. Am I making sense? I don't care what role you want me to play in your life, because I love you. I'm going to try to play that role to the best of my ability. Meaning, if I need to be a father to you, then that's what I'm going to be. If I need to be a teacher to you, then that's what I'm going to be. But if I have to reprimand you and teach you about discipline and discipline you, I'm going to do that too. Right? If I got to be the person that check you, put you in check, if I got to be the person you cry to one day, whatever you need me to be, I'm going to be. Okay? So pay attention, because what I'm teaching you is life and death. You might not understand it right now at your age, but when you get a certain age and something happens, you're going to understand. I'm going to give you a great example of what I'm talking about. His brother just had to go to court. The one you met, the one that was doing the video. This is why I'm teaching you about fidgeting. This is why I'm teaching y'all. Now, he had to go to court for assault. Does anybody know what assault is? You hurt somebody, or somebody says you hurt them. You ain't even got to hurt them. That could have been on his record for a long time. But because he listened to me and he been in his class and he's been listening to me for a couple years now, we got him a haircut. We got him a suit. We got him some dress shoes. He stood up straight in his chair and he didn't fidget in front of the judge. Because when you fidget in front of the judge and you do what you're doing, do you think he's going to let you off easy, or you think he's going to lock you up and send you to jail? Exactly. So when I tell you to do something, it's important. You understand? You know what the judge said to him? He said, because you have on a suit and you have a haircut, and because you're dressed nice and you're sitting up in your chair and you're paying attention, I'm not going to send you to jail. Am I right? Now, who you think he listened to in order to learn that? You see how important it is? Now, if the judge would have locked him up, was it anything that I can do to help him? No. So let me break this down to y'all too, so y'all can totally understand. Like, when it comes to women, what I notice about young boys, y'all get around like women, like y'all mom and the ladies at y'all school and stuff like that. Like how you was acting this week. And y'all think y'all tough. And y'all don't want to do what the ladies say for some reason. It's not cool and it's not masculine, and it don't make you a man and it don't make you tough when you go against your grandmother and the people that's trying to help you. You're not tough for that. That's not tough. That's not being a man. So stop doing that. You understand? I don't want to hear no more about you doing that. There was a kid, and I'm going to say this again. His mother died. He was walking around Detroit with an obituary of his mother in his hand, and he had a gun. He was only 15 years old. He walked up to two young ladies at the store in broad daylight, took the gun in front of everybody, and blew her brains out. This just happened, what, a couple days ago? You heard about that? No. In Detroit. Where was his father? He didn't have anybody like me in his life to guide him, or he wouldn't have never did that. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's how important it is. That's why I tell you, when we go to the store, stop fidgeting, stop playing, because somebody can walk in with a weapon and take your life. Now, obviously, that young man didn't have me or somebody like me in his life to guide him. So he ended up doing something crazy, and now he's got to spend the rest of his life in prison. Would you like that? So when you don't listen to me and you don't listen to the people that's over you, like your parents, your guardian, your grandmother, your auntie, or whoever's trying to help you, we're trying to stop that from happening with you. That young man might have not been fortunate enough, and I don't know, to have someone in his life like me and the people that loves you. But you are fortunate enough to have somebody to teach you what it means to be a black man. So I want you to take full advantage of it. Am I making sense? Okay. That's all, we got that understanding. So it ain't cool not to listen to a woman because you feel like she a woman and you think you stronger than her, because you're not. Because if a woman ever get angry enough, trust me when I say she's going to be stronger than you. One thing I teach in this class is when a woman is tired of you, she will get rid of you. Am I right? So even if you don't understand some of the stuff that I'm saying, I want you to understand this right here. Okay. So last lesson we went over, and we basically talking about how to survive as a black man in this country, right? What it means to be a black man in this country, because we are last on the totem pole. Just because we last on the totem pole, meaning other races are up here, right? And we down here. So I'm gonna draw a picture for you so you can understand. Let's do like a totem pole. Who you think? Raise your hand. Who you think at the top of the totem pole? There you go. We're gonna call them European. So we're gonna say European, Caucasian, and white people. But we don't want to be rude because white is a color. Okay. Now they at the top, right? Of who rule the world. Can somebody else name another group of people? Just name it. Don't matter what order it's in. So you have different types of people. We will be under like African descent, people of African descent, because we're African American, right? So what's another group of people? Raise your hand. Asian people. Good job. So you got Asian people. What other type of people? Raise your hand. Arabic people. There you go. I'm trying to tell you now. Now y'all starting to think. What other kind of people is it? Africans. It's Africans. Now we African American, but it's Africans. What other kind of people, y'all? You're missing one. That's a main one. Nope, we already got that. That's African. My man, but let's call them something else. Okay, we can say Indian people. But that's more like, I'm gonna teach y'all the difference between Indian people. Now, Indian people, we're not talking about Indian people. So Native American is the people that was originally here. Indian people is from India. So don't sound ignorant and say India, you know what I'm saying? But the people in India, like sometimes you see them, they own a 7-Eleven and they got a funny accent. Those are Indian people. Okay. What other group of people that you have? Y'all missing? He said it before. I'm just gonna put it up there. Latino, Hispanic people. Okay. Now, these group of people can be broken up into different things. In other words, with the Arabics, you might have like Chaldeans, right? Then you might have Lebanese, right? Then you have people from Iraq and all this stuff, right? Then with the Asian people, you got China. Can somebody name another one? Japanese, right? There you go. India, usually from India. You know what I'm saying? Now these are like large groups of people. Who can name the type of Hispanics it is? No, that's Arabic. That's a whole nother group of people. Mexican. What else? Brazilian. What else? Good job. Name one more with the Hispanics. Puerto Ricans. Because I'm going to say Puerto Ricans is more black than we are. Feel me? Dominican Republic. Okay. So why am I breaking it down like this? I'm breaking it down like this because to understand that we are African Americans. Okay. Meaning we are from African descent. Those represent different continents, so to speak. I like to break it down like that. You know, I'm talking generally, but I just want y'all to get so what continent is Africans on? Raise your hand. Africa. What continent is Asians on? Asian continent. You see where I'm going with this? It identifies a group of people. Black and white doesn't tell you an identity. It just tells you a color. This is why I'm teaching you who you are, because what does America call us? They call us black. Well, black just tell you what you look like. It don't tell you who you are. This is why I'm trying to teach you how to survive in this country, because that don't make sense. That's why I prefer to be called African American. Am I making sense? Yeah. Okay. So just to prove my points, because you have some idiots and people out there that don't quite understand what I'm saying, especially people of European descent. Has anybody, raise your hand if you ever heard of a German Shepherd dog? Raise your hand. Okay, put your hands down. Has anybody ever seen a German Shepherd dog? Okay, put your hands down. Now, when that dog come here, is Germany in America? No, it's not, is it? So when a German Shepherd is in Detroit, where we from, and you see a German Shepherd, ain't it still a German Shepherd? Does it become a Detroit Shepherd? No, it's a German Shepherd, right? So even if a German Shepherd mate with another German Shepherd and they have German Shepherd puppies, are those puppies American Shepherds or are they still German Shepherds? Exactly. So just because somebody's born somewhere don't mean that that's what they are. That's why there's a group of people called the Arabic people who then took over Egypt, which was our original land. And if you talk to a person, they say, oh, I'm Egyptian. No, you're not Egyptian. You're Arabic. You still Arabic. So we black, according to America, but that's not what we really are. We're really African Americans because our descendants are from Africa and we in this country. Am I making sense? Anybody that tell you otherwise, just trying to trick you. Okay, you might have Native American blood in you, but what we taught in class, the last class, raise your hand. Where do all mankind come from? Africa. So why do we try to identify with something other than what we are? I have no idea. I'm not saying that your family is wrong. I'm just saying, where do all mankind come from? So you should be proud to be where all mankind come from. So I'm African American. African American lets me know where my roots come from with the words Africa, which was still a European word that they, we'll get off into that later. And America represents the land where I live now. Am I making sense? Okay. Everybody understand that? Okay, so that's kind of like what we got into before. So my job is to make sure you know what's going on as an African American in this American continent. Am I making sense? Okay, so the last time we was talking about getting on that, since I brought that up, we just talked about where all mankind come from on the last episode. For those who didn't see the class last, we talked about what's called the Lucy bone. Okay, and that's what we're gonna pick up on today. Bless you. We talked about the Lucy bone. That's what we're gonna pick up on today. Now, the Lucy bone was a female African woman that is over 3.2 million years old, that archaeologists or anthropologists or people who are in that field found in Africa? Raise your hand. Where in Africa did they find this bone? Raise your hand. Who can remember? Ethiopia. Remember that? Huh? Okay. Found it in Ethiopia. Why is this important? Because these are your roots. This is where you come from. You need to know that so you will understand that when you're learning in school, won't nobody be able to put a wool over your eyes and fool you and call you something else. I don't care what religious institution you go to. I don't care what type of event you go to. I don't care where you go on this planet. You need to know who you are and where you come from and how powerful you are, because Africans were the first people to create and do everything on this planet. From planting a seed in the ground to building something, to mathematics, to science, to knowing how to tell time, how to study the stars, and how to study the weather to see when the rain was coming. All the stuff that they're trying to figure out now, Africans were the first people to do these things. Am I making sense? Now, why is this important? How old it is? Because you have certain institutions, especially religious institutions, and you have certain educational institutions that teach you that they try to put a time frame on man to teach you that man and the important things that man did came after this, and that's wrong. You know why they do that? Because they want to hide and bury African history, because African history is way before anybody else's history, and you should be proud of that because you have melanin in your skin. Okay, so Lucy bones. So because they found these bones of an upright African, that lets me know that there's certain stories that are not true about man. We talked about that. The story of evolution cannot be true because of this Lucy bone that totally destroys that story. We know that the story of Adam and Eve in the Bible, when you go to church, the lady talking to the snake and all that, we know that's totally eradicated. Just now, there's plenty of proof. You can go on Google now. That's what I love about today's time and find this stuff. But we got plenty of proof. But just this alone says that that's not true. Are y'all following what I'm saying? Just this alone that we looked up, that's proof that you can see. Always, I don't base facts on what I believe. I base what I believe on facts. Facts is something that you can prove with your eyes. You can feel it. You can touch it. Those stories that you've heard, can you feel or touch that? No, you cannot. Can you feel and touch the table right there in front of you? Yes, you can. So I want to base what I believe on that. Am I making sense? And that's the problem I have with people of African descent like us being taught outside of people who have an interest in African history, because they want us to believe the false narrative and not facts. But when you present facts in front of people, okay, it draws a different conclusion. So now that we talked about that, I like that question. Let's go off into something else. I want you to look up the word fact, because this is very important before we even go off into Lucy Bone. So won't nobody be able to pull the wool over your eyes. Let's go ahead and kill the game right now. Let's go ahead and kill the game. I want you to look up the word fact. Fact. The true, real, and what else? Of known to have happened. So if it's known to have happened, that means it's kind of like the past, right? Am I right or wrong? Something that has happened. Okay. So, or I like to say something like that's present, because you can be like, y'all all agree with me that y'all listening to me right now. Y'all can hear me, right? I'm in front of you, right? Those are real things, right? Do you have to prove that? Do you have to convince somebody of that? Right. And if you did have to convince somebody of that, you would think they was crazy, right? So don't let nobody tell you something is a fact that ain't a fact. Now I want you to look up the word belief and tell me what belief is. And we're going to play a little fact and belief game. And once you learn this game, won't nobody be able to pull the wool over your eyes. Because I think what happens is when people talk, they get fact and belief totally different. And we're going to go back to what you were saying. Assumption that something is real. An exception.
Is true or real, often held without needing absolute
proof. Don't need absolute proof. Do you hear that? Now, let me ask y'all a question. Raise your hand. Me standing in front of you talking right now, is that, raise your hand, a fact or a belief? Thank you. Now, the stuff you learn in church, would you say that's a fact or a belief? Raise your hand. It's a belief. Now, raise your hand. It's a belief. Raise your hand. Why is it a belief? Because I don't need to prove it. But that's good. But I want to go deeper than that. Why is it a belief? Because it has not proven to have happened. So when you're talking to people, the question that you need to ask people to stop all rhetoric and to stop all nonsense is something a fact or a belief? Why is this important? Because you can go to school, you can go to college, and you can live your life, and somebody can tell you who you are as an African American man, and you're going to believe them because you don't know the difference between a fact and a belief. That's what's going on with the world right now with us. People keep giving us these scenarios, and I'm going to give you a good example of what I'm talking about. Who's ever heard this? Hip hop is a culture. Who's ever heard that? Raise your hand if you've heard that. Rap music is for black people. Who's ever heard that? Raise your hand if you heard that. Y'all, you never heard that before? You ever heard hip hop is a culture, right? It's the same thing. Rap music is for black people. Majority of the people that do rap music, what are they? They black. Am I right or wrong? So you would believe somebody of another race if they told you that rap music was a part of your culture. What is culture? Culture is a group that you're a part of, right? That influences your behavior, right? The way you dress, the way you talk, the way you move. Wouldn't you say rap music influence your behavior? Yes or no? Right? Raise your hand if you like rap music. Put your hand down. That's what I'm talking about. All y'all just raised your hand. So that means the music that you listen to is influencing you, right? But here's the thing. You're not supposed to let something so negative influence you. That's why you in a class with me. So if another group of people say that that's a part of your culture, because you see it sometimes, or that's how you're supposed to act because you see them on TV, I want you to recognize, and that's why I'm teaching you what your past is, that that's not how you're supposed to act. You're not supposed to do what the rappers do. You understand what I'm saying? Because half of them don't know who they are. So in the past, we were kings and we were queens, and we ruled the planet. Raise your hand. What group of people running the planet right now? White people running the planet. But what if I told you in the past you ruled? Starting from the Lucy bone, that's 3.2 million years old. You need to know who you are in the past in order to know who you should be now. Because what you see black folks is right now is not who you're supposed to be. Am I making sense? So when you learn your past, it builds confidence up. So when you go to school, raise your hand. When you go to school, the majority of the time when you learn, you're learning mostly about what race of people. Raise your hand. White people history. That's what you're in this class for. Okay? So you need to learn who you are as a black man. Okay? Now, look up the word king. And tell me what the word king means.
Power for life.
Uh-oh, I like that word, power. We're going to talk about this. Why am I getting off into this? Because that's what we were known for in the past. We were known to be kings. Now, raise your hand if you ever seen a king on TV. You never seen a king on TV? Okay. Now, let me ask you a question. A king is somebody that rules, that has power, and that's a male. Okay? What if I told you in your history that's what you were in the past? Now, raise your hand. Where usually in school do they start people that look like you and me, people of color, black people? Where do they start us in history? Raise your hand. Slavery. Good job. Now, do slavery sound like a king to you? Right. And then subconsciously, we wonder why we act the way we do. Sit up in your chair. Slouchy, saggy pants, hip hop, looking like a criminal, thinking like a criminal, want to do criminal things, right? Because nobody taught you that in your DNA, you were a king. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you who you were as a king. I'm going to show you different kings that actually existed in time. And I want you to try to emulate those things. A king is a ruler. A king has power. Now, do you think somebody with power sits slouchy in their chair? Not at all. So that's why I teach you to sit up straight. Do you think that a king, somebody that rules and have power, do you think they got wrinkled up clothes? No. That's why I'm teaching you to be a king. You think a king wakes up and don't brush their hair and brush their teeth and don't put on deodorant and stuff like that? Is that how you think they got down? No, that ain't how to get down. That's why I'm teaching y'all how to be a king, why that's important. So I want everybody to repeat after me. I am a king. I am a king. I am a king. Boom. That's the attitude I want you to have when you go to school. I don't care what your friends doing. I don't care what your classmates doing. I don't care who the class clown is. I don't care about none of that. What's the latest hip hop song, a rap song, all that don't matter. You want to say in your head, I am a king. I am a king. So I'm going to show you how kings act. Because we were the kings over this earth. That's why I talked about the Lucy bone, to let you know if the Lucy bone was an African woman, that means it had to be an African man, right? And who was ruling things back then? Black people were ruling things back then because those were the only people on the planet. How many of you did you know that at one time it was only black people on the planet? Raise your hand if you knew that. You knew that? At one time, it was nothing but black people on the planet. There was no other race of people on the planet besides black people. This is what I want you to understand. You were a king. You ruled this earth. You ruled this planet. And at one time, there was nobody on the planet but us. Everybody else went to different parts of the world. And that's how you got other races of people. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put back into your subconscious mind who you were in the past. The first thing that you know is you were the first man. Everybody say the first man. We the first man. We was the first race. We was the first man. We was the first race of people, or whatever you want to call it. We was the first type of people. Okay. All right. It was different species of man, but we are a certain type of man, and that is a Homo sapien man. Okay. That's what we are today. So we're going to deal with that. And the first Homo sapien man was a black man. Just going to keep it real with you. Black woman, black man, whatever. We don't know who was the first. And I don't believe it was the first. I believe it was a man and a woman first because they got to make a baby, right? We was taught in history, somebody said that we started off in slavery. Do you think that's a good place to start black history? No, it's not a good place to start black history because black slaves got tortured. They got beat down and they were treated like animals, right? So what happened is when we got free and we was treated like animals, we probably acted like animals after we were free. Am I making sense? But that's not who you really are. You're really a what? I am a king. I am a king. I want you to look up who King Narmer is. We're going to close out on this. King Narmer, Narmer. Look up King Narmer. We're going to end with this. King Narmer. We talked about the Lucy Bone. See, I'm going to bring it all together. And I'm going to fill in some gaps. So if we draw a line, you got to put everything on the timeline when you're doing history. King Narmer. King, Narmer. When people tell you about Adam and Eve and they tell you all these false stories, you got to put things on the timeline. So if I was to do a timeline right now, leading you to how we got here, how we got to be the lowest person on the totem pole, I can draw a whole timeline for you and tell you the evolution and the destruction and the decline of the black race. Don't ever let nobody else tell you who you should be as a black man and where you fit in history. You tell people where you fit in history. And that's why I'm teaching you this. And that's why we went back to the Lucy Bone. I know some of the stuff that I say might sound repetitive, but that's okay. I want to be repetitive so it can get in here. It can get in your subconscious mind so you can realize who you are. Now, don't let nobody tell you who you are. You should be able to draw a timeline. I don't care if it's a teacher or whoever, and tell people who you are. So that's why we looked up the Lucy Bone. So if we had to stretch all the way back to 3.2 million years, we can talk about the Lucy Bone, which was an African woman. We already got that. Now raise your hand. Is that a fact or a belief? Raise your hand. It's a fact. That's a fact. Okay? They already proved that. And you can go look that up yourself on how it was proven. Because just because I say it, don't take my word for it. You go do your research for yourself. Now, did you find King Narmer? Okay, so I want you to tell me who King Narmer is. Okay, stop. Okay, now, everybody repeat after me. I am a king. Now, do they have a date on there? Okay, so we'll say the 4th millennium. We just say roughly between, I like to say 4,000 to 5,000 years ago. Okay? Everybody say 4,000 to 5,000 years ago. It was a king. This king was African. He was of African descent, pure African. I don't even want to say African descent. He was pure African. So we know that on this timeline that I'm building, we already know that they've proven that Africans was here 3 million years ago. Now we can go back 4,000-5,000 years and we know that a pure African was the king in Egypt. But just because he was in Egypt don't mean he didn't rule the rest of the world. Because you're going to find out that the kings in Egypt ruled the rest of the world as well. Because we migrated to other parts of the country. Everybody say a king is powerful. Now, sloppiness ain't powerful. That's why I teach my boys how to, iron their shirt, be clean, have a clean room. A king has a clean room. A king cleans his shoes. A king gets a haircut. A king makes sure he look a certain type of way. A king wants to learn. He go to school. He wants to be smart. In order to rule other people, you have to be smart. So instead of you looking at and you got grown folks trying to emulate what rappers do. That's stupid. I don't want to know the negative part of what black folks is doing. I'd rather reach into my past and know the positive things that black people have done and adopt that. Because any other thing you're going to find out and any other behavior is outside of your culture, your original culture, because hip hop is not your culture. Am I making sense? So from now on, we're going to say, I am a king. Everybody say, I am a king. I am a king. Now I want y'all to raise your hand and I want y'all to take a guess on what you think kings do. You acting as a king today, I should say, because y'all don't know what a king did in the past. Raise your hand. What do you think? If you are a king right now, what is the thing that you're supposed to be doing? Okay, so you got your own battle right now. What is your battle in life? Thank you. Good job. That's your battle. Going to school, getting good grades, listening to your teacher. and listening to your parents. Raise your hand. What else? I can't hear you. Staying clean. Sit up in your chair. That's another king thing. Staying clean. So we're going to write all this down because y'all saying it and not me. I like when y'all say it because it ain't like I'm just showing you, you know better. This the part of y'all that I want y'all to tap off into. Right here. This part. Okay, let's start from the scratch. I am. Everybody say I am a king. Certain things kings do. Number one, stay clean. You feel me? Number two, somebody said schoolwork. I like that. That's what kings do. This is how you get respected by other races of people so they won't look at you like a hip-hop slouch. And all that garbage you see on TV and all that garbage you see on social media and all that garbage you see when you pick up your phone device. That's why I don't let y'all mess with y'all phones when y'all with me because there's a bunch of garbage on there. Sit up straight. Do kings sit up straight? Yes or no? Yes. Sit up straight. Raise your hand. I want y'all to tell me, what else does a king do now? We're reaching back into our DNA and we tapping up into what we are now and not what somebody else tell us to be, because society tells you to be a saggy pants, drooping, full of jewelry, disrespecting women, carrying guns, cussing, smoking, drinking. That's what they want the black man to be. But you ain't gonna be that. You're gonna be a king because I'm gonna teach you about kings so you'll know how to act because they rule the planet. What else kings do? You acting as a king now. What do kings do? Keep up with their business. That's right. Take care of business. I like that. I like that. Now let me ask y'all another question. And we're gonna branch off into this. What's one of my main sources of income? The stock market. That's something we're gonna learn as a king. Now, do you think the king learn the stock market? Do you think that's for kings? Yes or no? Yes. What's another thing that I do that makes me a king? Invest, but that's still the stock market. But what else do I do? Real estate. Thank you. Everybody say, I am a king. You think I can do the stock market and real estate if I go to school and act a fool and be a class clown and not listen to my guardians? No. I want y'all to name something else. Raise your hand that makes you a king. Being kind. Now, let me teach y'all this because I don't want y'all to be punks. Be kind to people that's kind to you. Like your grandmother, because she don't have to be taking care of you. Okay? That's a choice. She could put you up for adoption and you end up somewhere where you don't want to be, where they lock you up in the closet. Would you like that? That's why you should respect her. Okay? Pay attention. Being appropriately dominant. I want you to explain that. Break it down more in layman's terms so everybody can understand. Because I know you know. Okay, I like that. Okay, let's say confident. How about that?